Good morning, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and also your host of Travel Talk. Really excited about today's episode. I got a good friend of mine, Ed Newell, with NewTree Ranch. Edward, it's Edward interviewing Edward. So great to have you on the podcast. How are you doing this morning?
Fantastic. Just had a beautiful day out in the garden, picking vegetables and flowers for our guests that are coming in tomorrow. So it's been a great day.
Oh, perfect. Well, as I like to start off with all of my guests, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe how you got to where you are in your role now, and then we'll kind of get into the property and what's so unique about it and why we should get some visitors and guests out there.
Yeah, I've always had a great passion for hospitality. I'm sure just like you, Edward.
Yep.
And, started off, I think, in my mom's kitchen when I was a kid. She used to make soups and talk about me going up in the cupboard and grabbing the spices and fixing her soups at 7 years old. And now I've got a garden filled with over 250 vegetables and spices to choose from. That came from a path of having restaurants, working in the hotel industry. And then finally, I did furniture manufacturing for a few years and settled down at NewTree Ranch, trying to get off of 16 flights a month in a really hectic flights going back and forth between Asia and Europe and doing furniture manufacturing. So now I brought that all to here at NewTree Ranch, where we've got 120 acres, and we love to have people come and gather together with their family and friends and just really create a unique experience for them where they can learn a little bit about the environment, have that really peace and tranquility of being in nature and all that farm to fresh food that we've got here on the property.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, I have not been there yet, and I say the word yet. I'm hoping to make it there one day soon, but I have looked at the website and looked at everything that you're doing. But for someone who's looking at going to NewTree Ranch, what could they expect? What separates you guys from everything else that's out there?
Well, I think the big difference for me that I would say guests really talk about is the being able to really spend time with their family and friends. If you go to a hotel, you've got 300 other people around you. And here at NewTree Ranch, you've got 120 acres to spend with 14 of your closest family and friends. And we've created so many experiences that are unique to the property. Right behind you, you can see up here the Japanese tea garden where you can come up and have massages and little things that I've found through my travels through the world. We imported a beautiful stone tub from Bali that you can have after your spa treatment and sit in a rose bathtub. And, there's so many unique things that you wouldn't find anywhere else that I found in my travels through the world and brought back to this ranch in Sonoma.
Well, that's perfect. One of the big things there, you mentioned the key word was experiences. Let's touch a little bit more on the importance of experiential travel, how that affects NewTree Ranch, and why does the experiential side of things really just set you guys apart?
Well, I think the experiences are what really give the families and friends the opportunity to connect, not only to themselves, but to nature and to their family and friends. When you do something, we do the Wim Hof experience at the ranch, and to watch 3 generations of people conquer their fears and get in an ice bath, and how excited they are the rest of their trip. And they call me later and say, wow, my kid's doing better on his tests in school. My husband's doing better in his business. So many great things come out of those kind of connections. And we've got tons of experiences on the ranch. And, not everybody's ready to get an ice bath, but they might be ready for a sound journey or even just spending a little time in the garden, picking carrots. One of our favorite experiences is the pizza making experience at the pizza oven right over there. Let's see, right there. And people literally go in the garden right there and pick fresh vegetables and go in and make a pizza out of the things that their kids, they always say to me, my kids don't eat vegetables. I said, wait till they get in the garden and they're picking their own vegetables. They'll eat them.
Yeah, well, it's a completely different experience. It's that ownership mentality where you're able to kind of go and it's yours. You're building your pizza, you're building your thing. That's such an amazing thing right there. You mentioned where you guys are located, but for our guests who have not heard, what area, what corner of the world, where can they find NewTree Ranch?
Well, I chose Healdsburg in Sonoma because it's got such a great destination. We've got some of the best restaurants. It's really a wonderful hidden spot in the Sonoma Valley, Dry Creek Valley, excuse me. And it's incredible. You go downtown, you walk, it's peaceful, it's quiet. It's one of those places movie stars can come and they're not bothered by people. It's really a hidden gem. We're only an hour from the coast, so you can drive to the coast for the day. You've got amazing wineries, incredible restaurants, some of the best things to do on a holiday.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing opportunity there. If you had to explain, or if you had to give one word or phrase on what NewTree Ranch is to you, what would that be?
Wow. I would say farm fresh, unique luxury.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Farm fresh, unique luxury. There's a lot of things in there. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, we've got over 300 solar panels on the ranch. We grow all of our own food. I mean, how many places can you go where the property grows its own food, has all of its own energy? We have all of our own water on the property that's all chemical free. Even like the sheets, which are all Frette, beautiful imported Italian sheets, are all washed on that chemical free water on the property. People always say, why do I feel so good when I'm here? Well, all those things matter, right? Being in a really clean environment is something that we don't get to experience all the time. It's hard to find these days. And I think that makes NewTree Ranch really unique.
No, it does. And I think that's an important thing. Wellness travel is such a huge component of, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it just continues to grow post-pandemic. People are really focused about their health. People are focused about what they're putting in their bodies and what's around them in their environments. And so it looks like NewTree Ranch is being a real pioneer in everything that you're doing because of the fact that you have everything right there for your guest, which makes it so very special, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've really struggled in the past 10 years that I've been building this. What is wellness to me?
Yeah.
And for me, it just comes to a way of life. It's not about going to the gym every day. It's not about eating perfectly clean food. It's not about doing yoga all the time. It's a way of life. And, we've figured out a way of living here that really, I think, embodies wellness.
I love that. I love that aspect because I actually share that same thing with regards to wellness. It is a way of life. It is not a one and done. People are looking for the quick fixes and the easy things, but what are you going to do to sustain that? And so wellness has the yin and the yang. It's a little bit of both. And, you don't have to be that person that eats chicken and broccoli and only drinks water and works out 6 days out of the week, because is that living for some? Maybe, but for a lot of us, it's not, and it's not sustainable. And so, I think the principles that you're teaching there at NewTree Ranch are amazing. So let's switch a little bit to the personal side, and then we'll jump back into the ranch itself. But tell me some of your favorite travel destinations that you have visited that are some of your favorites.
Yeah, that's always a difficult question for me. I think, all places are incredible, and I have been around the globe a few times. We've got a little bug there. And I guess they came out of the picture. And, some of my favorite places, Southeast Asia, India. I love spending time. I've spent a lot of time in India the past few years, and I love going and practicing yoga and learning about Ayurvedic practices and getting deeper into my wellness program and bringing those things back to the ranch and sharing it with the guests. I think I've really been focusing on the wellness aspect in the past few years. One of my favorite places is Antarctica. I've been about 5 times now, and I think going to a place that is so remote and just filled with so much ice and just really clean gives you an opportunity to really think more deeply. But everywhere I go, I love. It's kind of like the seasons. I used to have only liked summer, right? No, I love all seasons. I love all places.
No, definitely. I've actually had a couple of people, my guests, who have said India and Antarctica were some of their favorite places, but also on their bucket list. So let's switch a little bit. I know you've been to a lot of places. I don't know if there's any places in the world that you have on your bucket list, but do you have any bucket list travel spots that you might still trying to get to?
Yeah, absolutely. One place that I've tried to get to that I haven't been to yet is Machu Picchu. It's one of those places. I think we've all had those that I've had trips planned, and for some reason it keeps canceling. And so that's I want to do that 3-day hike up to Machu Picchu, and I'd really enjoy that. And Galapagos Island, I'm actually going to this year with my mom, and I'm really excited to do that, especially taking my mom. She's 80 years old, and looking really forward to that trip.
Yeah, those are some special opportunities. I just went on a trip with my mom as well. And so, I mean, having those abilities to connect with your parents is always an important thing. But when you mix it with travel, it just becomes a little bit more unique. It's different than like, well, let's go take you out to a nice restaurant. It's, the experiential side of travel just becomes heightened when you do it in a multi-generational aspect. And there's a lot of that going on in these days. So as we're wrapping up here, anything that you want to touch on that's coming up for NewTree Ranch that people should be aware of, or what's the best way for them to also connect with you and find out more information?
No, we've got a great website. Go to www.newtreeranch.com, and it really explains the 2 different villas that we've got on the property. We've got 6 bedrooms. A lot of people like to rent the whole property out, but you can rent the 2 villas individually. And then you're always free to email me at ed@newtreeranch.com. So just ed@newtree ranch.com.
Perfect. Last thing here. What should people expect when they visit you?
Well, the things that I hear guests say is the trip of a lifetime. Yeah, I would say. Wow. Yeah, most people that come here just say this is on the top couple of their trips, and if not their best trip.
That's amazing. Trip of a lifetime. So when guests get there, what's the average stay for some of your guests?
Usually about a week. I mean, we've had some people stay up to a month, but usually about a week, and then long weekends, 4 days. I think and I'm always here. So, how many places do you go? How many hotels do you go and stay at, and where the owner is watching over every meal you have, every activity that you do, every spa treatment? I'm there making sure it's perfect.
That's the customer service side of things. And you're doing a great job out there, and I can't wait to visit as well. So, man, I really want to thank you for being on today's episode of Travel Talk. Lots of information, such a fantastic and unique place. I love everything that you guys are doing over there and what you're bringing to this world. But it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely. Thank you, Edward.
Well, perfect. For all our guests, for all our listeners, please like, please comment, please share. A lot of great nuggets here from Ed from NewTree Ranch. And then also, please follow us on thehotelguide.com because one of the big things that we're focused on is to travel and to make memories. And in doing so, you got some great guests like Ed here and bringing the information from NewTree Ranch to the masses. So thank you for today's episode. Please like and follow us. And until next time, travel and make memories. Take care, everybody.